Welcome to a special residential real estate mashup episode of the Perfect 100 podcast. Today, we're bringing you insights from trusted real estate and home service professionals who help guide people through some of life's biggest transitions. This episode is proudly sponsored by Michelle Wilson from Michelle Wilson State Farm, where Michelle helps families protect what matters most. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome back to the Perfect 100 podcast. I'm your host, Tammy Zurak. Today, I'm joined by someone that I've had the privilege of knowing since 2020, Jane Massie. She's known for her drive, her heart, and her commitment to doing things the right way. Jane, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks
How
for
are ya?
having me. It's really special for me to be here with you.
Definitely my pleasure. All right, let's kick things off the way we do every week with a 45-second commercial. Go ahead.
Well, I'm Jane Massie with Crye-Leike Realtors. I am a full-time realtor that's licensed in Mississippi and Tennessee, and I specialize in residential and land, but I think my passion is with the residential because it seems to be more of where more emotions are involved. And so my clients tell me that they appreciate the fact that I walk them hand to hand, step to step through the entire process. I give them a lot of information because I want them to be able to make informed decisions and make their own informed decisions and not feel like they don't have any control in a transaction, because it's not a transaction. It is something very personal to them because people don't buy or sell because it's a business. I work with individuals and families more so than I do investors. And there is always a transition that causes someone to decide whether or not it's time to buy or a time to sell. And I want that to be a positive, memorable experience for all my clients. So I'm Jane Massie with Crye-Leike Realtors.
What do you love most about being a realtor now?
Well, some people would, if you asked other realtors, they'd probably say, having the control over their schedule. And I have found that I work every day of the week. I work long hours because my personality is that you do what it takes to get it done. And I've always enjoyed helping other people get what they want. It gives me a purpose and makes me feel a sense of fulfillment when I help someone else. So I think that's probably the biggest reward that I've had and look forward to is, helping somebody else get what they want. And homes, that's a big thing. It's the investment someone, the largest investment someone probably will ever make.
Yeah, and the biggest change that, that moving and all of that is one of the most stressful things that people go through. And you're right there in the thick of it with them. What helps you stay focused and productive when all those things are hitting all at once?
Anxiety. It does make you do things and stay on top of it. But it's mostly good anxiety, anticipation, knowing that someone has put their trust in me and that if I don't do what I told them that I was going to do, it's going to not only hurt them, but it's going to hurt their trust in me and my integrity. I have a need, I guess, to show people who I am. I don't want to just say, hey, these are all the things I'm going to do for you. I want to do those things plus things that you don't even expect.
Right.
I want someone at the end of, the day they get the keys or the day that they get their funds to say, you know what? You're the best realtor I've ever worked with. I've never had anyone that kept me in the loop and that was able to, get me information that I could trust and that you were transparent enough to say, hey, I don't know. I don't know what the answer to this is, but to not have an ego and to go ahead and reach out to other people to try to find the best answers, because sometimes there's more answers than one to questions and things. Every real estate transaction and every client brings different variables that you can't control, you can't foresee. Things just happen, and when they happen, it's how do you react to those things and help somebody get past the bumps in the road. When I got into BNI, I thought it was all about me and what could I get out of BNI. After I learned more about it, because I did do CEUs, I went to all the meetings, I started to see the giver's gain. And as a realtor, when I got in it, I didn't realize it, but I've always known that I was the resource where people just come back to me and they're like, "Hey, do you know a handyman? Do you know a roofer? Where do I go for insurance?" And so I always had contacts in my phone, but I didn't always know who those people were. I was giving people referral based off of secondhand knowledge. When I started participating and our chapter started growing and I started to go every week and meet these people, I knew would not only do a good job, they would follow up, they had a reputation. I could trust who they were and I could trust sending them to my clients because, my reputation is impacted by the people that I say, "Hey, this is someone that is reliable, that does quality work, that won't leave you hanging." So when I made that referral, I know we're going to get a good result. And
So your top five, your number one is achiever. You work hard and possess a great deal of stamina. You take immense satisfaction in being busy and productive. Number two is harmony. You look for consensus. You have no use for unnecessary friction and guide others toward practical solutions. Number three, responsibility. You take psychological ownership of your commitments. You are dependable and embrace values such as honesty and loyalty. Number four is developer. You recognize and cultivate the potential in others. You spot the signs of each small improvement and love when you see someone make progress. And number five, competition. You measure progress against the performance of others. You love contests and need to win. But I wanted to call attention to the fact that you have the blend of harmony and developer, and those two things together create growth in a peaceful way and a productive way. So, you work well with other people and you love seeing people improve. Have you found that that helps you lead or collaborate with others better or even succeed in BNI in a better way?
it does. I don't I don't always want to be the person in charge. But I think different parts of my personality just kinda automatically people see me as a leader because I'm not passive. I'm actively involved in whatever endeavor that I have chosen to participate in. And all that sometimes that's all it takes is being active and stepping forward and taking on responsibilities when nobody else in the room will do it. And the next thing you know, you're a leader.
Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Your dedication, consistency, and care show up in what you do. And I know that you have great heart and great excellence. So I appreciate you being here and being a guest on the podcast.
Well, it was an honor to be here and to be asked to share this experience with you.
For our listeners, remember subscribing is the easiest way to give me a referral that doesn't cost a thing but a click. So if you have not already subscribed, please do. Please leave me comments and share because that also helps. Life's busy from morning drop offs to weekend ball games. That's why Michelle Wilson State Farm makes protecting your home, car, and life simple. Real people, real service every day. Call Michelle Wilson State Farm. Here's for life's everyday moments. 901-590-1922.
Good morning, BNI Bartlett. My name is Nick Sammons. I own TruVine Renovations, and we build kitchens, bathrooms, and home additions. But what we specialize in is a peaceful renovation experience. Now, what I am looking for today are clients who have had poor experiences with contractors in the past, who need someone to help them, guide them through the process, and is very thorough and communicates well. Those would be a good fit for me.
Tell us a little bit about how your business runs because you're in a chapter and you have other people in other chapters. Is that right?
Yeah, so I handle all the sales and marketing for my business. And then I have a full time project manager, Cameron, who's in the greater Memphis chapter. And then I have a part time office administrator, Stacy, who works remote. So Cameron is in a chapter, although he is extremely busy handling the day to day operations of everything. It's just important to us that we get more visibility, especially as a new business, because we're only 4 years in right now. So my return on investment in BNI is absolutely massive because our average job size is about $44,000. So the way I look at it is I really only need one of those jobs in order to make it worth it for us.
Right.
And it's really helpful too when you have these quality business professionals in these chap, especially things like HVAC, plumbing, electric, because there's accountability with your subcontractors and other general contractors. They may agree with me that sometimes the sub pool can kind of be scary to navigate through. So
Right.
I love having the accountability of coming to my weekly meeting and seeing my subs because that's just a little extra bug in their ear that says, hey, you need to get that thing done for me.
Nice.
I wasn't born a business owner. I had no idea how to do any of this when I first started. I was just a good tradesman. And then you find out when you go out on your own that there's a lot more to business than being just a good tradesman. Constantly doing coaching, absorbing information. I really like taking the CliftonStrengths test. So just seeing different ways to view people, to increase my leadership, to better my sales, how to build systems and operations. I'm constantly doing that. And so that's where all those CEUs come from.
So let's go ahead and show your Clifton strengths. All right. So your number one thing is a new one for us here, is significance. You want to make a big impact. You are independent and prioritize projects based on how much influence they will have on your organization or the people around you. Number two is analytical. You search for reasons and causes. You have the ability to think about all of the factors that affect a situation. Number three is focus. You can take a direction, follow through, and make the connections necessary to stay on track. You prioritize, then act. Number four is responsibility. You take psychological ownership of what you say you will do. You are committed to stable values such as honesty and loyalty. And number five is competition. You measure your progress against the performance of others. You strive to win first place and revel in contests. So, what stood out to you the most when you got your results?
You know, I've taken so many of these tests before. They all kind of they all make sense and in different points of my life they change just a little bit. But I had never seen significance before as part of it. I've seen the analytical, the focus, responsibility, competitiveness, those kind of things. And that's the biggest thing that stood out to me. I personally think that I'm here to build something extremely great that can give back to the community, that can continue to employ people, to build into other businesses. And so that's really important to me. And as much as I prefer to not be in the spotlight, it always feels good to me to be recognized for something that we're doing. So I don't ever actively like seek like I've got to be in the spotlight right here. But if I did something that people feel is truly worthy, not something that I feel was worthy, and that wants to be recognized, I love that because that's what I want to do. I'm not here to exalt myself, but just I want to make a difference. And we're doing that, a bathroom, a kitchen, an addition at a time right now.
Yeah, when you hear significance, it sounds like oh, well, I want to be significant. But significance isn't that. It is more so what you said is, I want to make a difference in how it, and then when you roll those five things together, you said several of them is you want to give back to the community. That's a responsibility. You want to do good things. And I was reading your top five for me as a general contractor. I think that's amazing because it's what sets you apart. Wow, if you had somebody, I think the biggest challenge that most people have with a general contractor when they go to hire somebody to make whatever changes to their home, that their biggest concern is that they're not going to follow through, that it isn't going to be what they said, that they're not going to be there for you when you need them. And pretty much all the things you have are counter to that, right? Is you're going to be significant because you're going to want to make a difference. You want to be a different type of contractor. You want to be somebody who is responsible.
And it was
Yeah.
cool to me to see that how closely these top five ranked with our business core values. And so our business core values are purity, respect, integrity, commitment, and excellence. That was pretty cool how that lined up to me.
Yeah, I love that. So if you could imagine a business owner who's never discovered their strengths, what would you say to them that why it would matter to them?
There's so much that you really don't know about yourself. There's a lot of tests and different things out there like the Clifton Strengths that can give you insight to what your strengths and weaknesses are. And in business, you really can't be everything as an owner operator. You've got some really good strengths, which is where you need to put your focus, and you've got some weaknesses where other people can help you grow your business. And so I would definitely recommend taking one of the those tests and figuring out what you're good at, and don't go on and find a free test because yeah, it might give you a little bit of information, but you really don't know how to integrate that or how that integrates with your business, your life, who you are, how you like to operate. And so one of those tests could be a couple $100, but could give you some really valuable insight. And we are big fans of the disc profile test. We take it every 2 years. The whole team does. It helps me as a leader figure out how they like to be led, how they like to be communicated to. It helps me as an introvert know how to speak to clients who are different than what I am. Now, I always love a client who already knows everything they want, where they all want it to go. They've got it all picked out. They want to do it. They've researched us because that's who I am. But,
Right.
there are other clients who wanna tell me about how their grandmother made them feel in their kitchen and how they wanna recreate that experience, and if I didn't have that training, if I didn't understand the way I operate and how those types of people can operate, then it would be
Right.
really hard for me to sympathize with her and give her what she's looking for.
Yeah, and I started my career early on taking disc. I've taken disc in Myers-Briggs several times, and in Gallup, we say that it's kind of like disc and Myers-Briggs put you in the city. Clifton Strikes put you at the front door. Well, thanks
Thank
for
you.
being a guest here today, Nick, and thanks everybody for listening. And we'll see you next time on the Perfect 100.
Today's guest is a 20+ year insurance professional in a field where trust and education are key. She has earned a name for making insurance not only approachable, but empowering for her people. Hi, Michelle. How are you today?
Good morning, Tammy. I'm great. Thank you. That was a wonderful introduction.
Oh, awesome. All right. Let's go ahead and start with your 45 seconds.
Well, I am Michelle Wilson, owner agent of State Farm Insurance, Michelle Wilson Agency. I'm located in East Memphis, but I serve Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, and Arkansas. And we are built on trust, integrity, and educating our clients. We believe in teamwork, mutual respect, a continuous learning, all with shared commitment to helping people manage the risks of everyday life and recover from the unexpected so they can realize their dream. Our vision is simple: to be the insurance agency our community knows for remarkable service, products, knowledge, and long-term relationships built on honesty and trust. Our mission is clear: helping families and businesses protect what matters most. We want to be the first and best choice for insurance and financial services. And this isn't just about insurance, it's about making sure people we serve have confidence, security, and the right agency team to help them when life takes the unexpected turn.
Awesome. All right. So talk to me about insurance. How long you started your business 20 some years ago? How did you get into insurance? Why insurance?
I really wanted to help and serve our community. I live in a small town outside north of Memphis, and I was a banker in the town. I loved helping the community, the schools. I handled a lot of their accounts, but I realized I just kind of hit a level where I wasn't going to be able to help them on different platforms. And so I started really thinking about what industry could I get into that I can help people manage things that a car accident wiped them out financially, or an unexpected illness or injury did not wipe them out financially. How can they receive a paycheck when those things happen? They're very unexpected. And opening savings accounts just wasn't doing it for me. I wanted a bigger platform and more options and products for those clients to be able to be taken care of. And so that's why I started looking into insurance industry. I thought I was going to be real estate. I came from a real estate family. I loved it. However, insurance was kind of filling all the dots for me, and I loved it. And so I went to work for an agent in town who happened to be my father-in-law. I had to talk him into it. And we worked it out, and it was fantastic. He was a great mentor. The gentleman I worked for at the bank, they were great mentors to me. A woman I worked for in the insurance
and real estate industry, fantastic mentors. So I realized quickly I love this and I love the opportunity it gave me, not just to have my own business, provide jobs, a good environment for my employees, but to help people. And that's really why I got into it. And I love it. I've never looked back regretting it. It's been fantastic.
So I'm kind of those people. I don't like to spend a lot of time doing things that somebody else has already proved don't work. I would rather figure out what they did do well and do that
Yes,
and make it my own.
absolutely.
Awesome. So you've been in business for 20 some years. How has your business changed or grown over the years?
Well, I'm working a little bit smarter. When you're first starting out, you're kind of drinking out a fire hose. You've got all these wonderful things going on. You're excited. You're living your dream. You're pursuing your passion. And sometimes you just put your hands in fires of different things that you think are going to work. And one of them was marketing. Like I'm so much better at marketing and how I spend my time because time is our most precious commodity. It's our most important thing we have. We can never get it back. Right. So how are we going to spend it? So in my business, when you're launching, you're really building that. And I needed strong relationships in East Memphis, Germantown area. I needed strong connections. That's just something I'm very passionate about. I tried different things, but when I landed BNI and I saw the focus and the drive and the accountability, not only that, but the professionals and the training. I mean, we encourage each other and lift each other up, and we bring each other to a standard that really, really helped me really grow that area of my business.
Let's roll over to your Clifton strengths. So, your number one strength is belief. You have certain core values that are unchanging. Out of these values emerge a defined purpose for your life. Number two is responsibility. You take psychological ownership of what you say you will do. You are committed
Yes.
to stable values such as honesty and loyalty. Number three is positivity. You have contagious enthusiasm. You are upbeat and can get others excited about what you're going to do. Number four is connectedness. You have faith in the links among all things. You believe that there are few coincidences and that almost every event has meaning. And number five is activator. You can make things happen by turning thoughts into action. And you have also taken your full 34. So I've got that up for us. So I'll give the rest of the 6 through 10. 6 is significance, 7 is learner, 8 is individualization, 9 is woo, and 10 is focus. So when you first did this, what were your thoughts?
Spot on. And it made sense to me after going through it and meeting with you and understanding a little bit more because really, truly, I am not involved with anything if it does not serve a purpose. And the purpose has to better something, right? Better our community, better somebody's life, leave a positive impact. I would say, I'm believing in what I do, right? That's important. But we have so many obstacles and so many things that we go through. And sometimes things are great and sometimes they can be down. But that responsibility, that commitment, that is really something that helps drive what we do in our business, our agency. We have a core value there that, we are responsible to our clients, our customers. We are responsible to each other. You need to make sure that you're setting yourself up to succeed. You're going to be brave about it. You're going to know your why and then do the things that will help make you successful. I'll tell you, networking is probably one of the biggest things you can do to help with your success and doing the right networking and finding a mentor in the field you're in that you really admire and believe that you can learn from, but you can still make it your own. But you still want to surround yourself with that type of mindset.
Well, thank you so much for being a guest here on the podcast and sharing that all with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you, Tammy. I enjoyed this a lot. Thank you.
I'm Ronnie Smith with Orion Financial. I hold the residential mortgage seat here in the East Memphis chapter. Why choose me? That's the question. Here's why. Number one, I'm local. I live in this community. I care about this community. I have a reputation to uphold in this community, and I can be held accountable here in this community. You couple that with number two, we save you time and money. At the largest credit union in Memphis, we have super competitive rates and charge no lender fees. Our whole team communicates well, not only with one another, but with our clients. You'll always know where you are in the mortgage process because we all keep you updated from start to finish. We make sure the process is running smoothly and efficiently along the way. No delayed closings or last minute requests. Orion will save you time and money. And finally, I'm reliable. If I give you a pre-approval letter to purchase a home with a green light to refinance, you'll never have to hear me say, I'm sorry, I missed that, or I didn't know, or wish I could have caught that earlier. I do my comprehensive work on the front end and provide you with a letter that actually means something. I stand behind my work every single time. Ronnie Smith, Orion Financial.
So, what strategies have you found have helped you to keep engaged in BNI for yourself so far?
Really pushing in, and one-on-ones, for me, it's most important to know the people. If you ever, I don't think I've been called on in one meeting to ask, what is your favorite category? And relationships is always the thing for me. And so to get to know the people as deeply as I can, and not just on a business level.
Ronnie's top strength is woo, and woo is winning others over. So it says you love the challenge of meeting new people and winning them over. Second one is communication. So you generally find it easy to put your thoughts into words, and you're a good conversationalist and presenter. And I have seen and heard you do both, and I agree. All right, next one. So number 3 is positivity. So you have contagious enthusiasm. You're upbeat and can get others excited about what they are going to do. Number 4 is connectedness. You have faith in the links among all things. You believe there are few coincidences and that almost every event has meaning. So you don't think things just happen. They happen because they're supposed to. And then the last is number 5 is developer. You recognize and cultivate the potential in others. You spot the signs of each small improvement and derive satisfaction from evidence of progress. So I want to ask you, after you got your report, your assessment results, I know before you took it, you said to me, I'm not even sure what my strengths are. So were you surprised when you got your assessment back with the results?
No, at all. I showed my wife, I read it to her and she was laughing.
Because it was so true to life.
Yeah. Like, the report goes a little more in depth with some of
Yes.
those things that you just read off the kind of the one sentence summary, but there's one phrase under the woo, they see no strangers, only friends they haven't met yet.
Right.
That's me.
Yes.
That's me to a core. So, to my core, there are different ways that I develop and connect, that I, even outside of BNI, that I see myself doing all the time. Love to connect people with the right things. A friend of mine, I'll tell you this story. A friend of mine's business who visited our chapter. His business has been struggling. He's looking for opportunities, and my radar's on full alert. And I called him last night. I got 3 people I've talked to that I think you need to. And so I'm just thinking of how I can connect him to the right folks, and so that's kind of how I'm wired. When I can meet the people, which is important. Go and meet.
Yes.
My name is Rees Hodges, and I'm a closing attorney in Germantown, Tennessee, and I hold the title attorney seat in my local chapter, BNI East Memphis. And that means that I handle residential and commercial real estate transactions. So what you're going to want to use me for is making sure that title passes free and clear between parties that are buying and selling real property. We handle everything from making sure parties aren't in bankruptcy to making sure all liens are paid, taxes are satisfied, and basically that the buyer gets an insurable piece of title that they can own free and clear outright of anything prior in time before them.
Awesome. All right. So a you're a title attorney whose reputation and professionalism build trust, 2 qualities that deeply matter, because I don't know everybody knows what a title attorney does. So what does your day-to-day look like?
A lot of what I do is behind the scenes work. When we get a contract to do a closing on a piece of property, we order a title search and we check to see that the person who's purporting to sell the property actually owns it, that they have enough equity in the property to pay off any liens. We want to make sure these people that are selling, or these companies that are selling, don't have judgments, that they don't owe any back taxes, federal tax liens. There's a slew of things that are checked when we do a title search. So a lot of my behind the scenes work is clearing those types of matters. and making sure that the buyer is of course getting clear title. But day to day in my office, I'm also handling the table closing. So I'm sitting down with you at a closing, and I'm making sure that you understand what you're signing, that we go over all the numbers, and that everything is as expected, and that I'm kind of like a last stop to answer any final questions that somebody may have regarding the transaction that's in.
So your work touches a lot of milestones, buying and selling a home being a big one, obviously. How do you help your clients feel comfortable and confident that what can be a heavy situation emotionally is going to be okay for them?
Well, I try to make everything relatable to, day to day life. Anytime we're going through the documents at the closing table, a lot of times people get overwhelmed with the amount of paperwork that they have to sign, all the numbers, and I always try to bring it back down to we all have to have a place to live. We have to have a roof over our head. This is a transaction where you're taking title. Yes, it's a big deal, but you're also putting equity into your home. And you've come this far. Don't let the final stretch scare you out of it.
So let's roll over to your Clifton strengths and show what those are. So your number one is woo. You love meeting new people and winning them over. You enjoy socializing and making connections. Your number two is consistency. You are keenly aware of the need to treat people the same. You crave stable routines and clear rules and procedures that everyone can follow. Your number three is communication. You generally find it easy to put your thoughts into words. You are a good conversationalist and presenter. Your number four is harmony. You look for consensus. You have no use for unnecessary friction and guide others toward practical solutions. And your number five is achiever. You work hard and possess a great deal of stamina. You take immense satisfaction in being busy and productive. So, what was your first reaction when you read your report?
It's I'll tell you one thing that caught my attention was when I was reading about there's a little blurb about each one and what it entails. Under Achiever, it says you feel as if each day starts at zero, and every day when I wake up, it's a new day. I don't ever wake up angry. I don't know how to explain that. It's just
Yeah.
every day is a fresh start for me.
Yeah, I love that. Well, and it was interesting because all the things you just said, you have a very specific process and to make sure everything is done properly.
Yes, every day is there's always something that in my mind at least where I'm saying, okay, we need to adjust how we're doing X to make it smoother down the road.
Right.
You're always perfecting those processes for sure.
Yeah. Well, consistency and harmony together add a steady, fair, and calming energy, which are both important traits working in title work. How do those strengths influence how you handle conflict or pressure, would you say?
I have a lot of patience. Pressure is typically not something that crawls under my skin too much. Conflict, I definitely try to avoid it. I try to resolve it if it's presented to me. But overall, I think that my strengths balance my ability to be able to do that job efficiently because of the fact that, I will try to eliminate the conflict. We'll try to get to a resolution where it's fair and equitable for all parties.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds about right. And woo and communication also together make you a natural connector. People tend to feel at ease around you, is typically what those bring. So, how do those show up in how you build trust with clients or maybe referral partners, even?
I try to be as genuine and just myself as I can be when I'm around people. So I think a lot of that just happens organically when I meet people. I'm not, I always say I'm not putting on a show. One of the things I'll tell a real estate agent when I meet them for the first time is I'm going to be the same guy that you see at the office if you close a transaction with me. I'm not going to change because I'm here trying to speak to you tonight or today. What you get in the office is the same thing you're going to get out here.
You have those abilities to kind of cut through and meet people in a way, when I'm upsetting the apple cart, you're behind, making sure everybody's okay and understanding what's happening. So,
And a lot of that rolls over into, exactly what I do, which is I've got a title issue and I'm trying to resolve it and keep everyone happy and keep everything moving forward. There are definitely people in my office that will bring me the information that might upset the apple cart, and
right.
then it's my job to put it back together.
what would you tell them about building trust and reputation in their network?
Building trust and reputation, I mean, you have to follow through with what you say you're going to do. So, your reputation is built by your actions, in my opinion. Don't overpromise and underdeliver. So always make sure that you are doing what you say you're going to do it promptly. And if you can't do it, tell someone that you can't do it.
And what is your pre-court or pre-closing routine? Any rituals that help get you in the zone?
Pre-closing routine, I always look at what I'm about to have the client sign. I will flip through the settlement statement and I will make sure that nothing on it looks unusual to me that I need to ask my closer about prior to. Because sometimes it has happened where I'll sit down with a client and then I have a question internally that I could have asked before I walked in the room. So I've learned
Right.
to check my own self before I go in there so that I don't have to do that in front of the client.
Thanks for listening to The Perfect 100. If today's episode sparked a new idea or inspired you to show up differently in your chapter, share it with your team and be sure to subscribe so you never miss a conversation. And if you're curious about your own Clifton strengths and how to bring out the best in yourself or your chapter or your business, head to TammyZurak.com to learn more about building your superpowers into everything you do. Keep showing up, keep connecting, and keep building your perfect 100.